quarantine room in Copenhagen, Denmark. This is the back, just want to show for better lighting, but pretty big window. And then I have this nice long desk used to eat here. A nice twin bed, some shelving, and then a little kitchenette does its job. Nice little mini fridge, and then just storing stuff here, and then the wet shower. So everything I could possibly need. Thankfully, I'm pretty used to small rooms, so this is no big deal. Wanted to kind of go through what my experience has been like here. So through Copenhagen, I'm given this dorm to use, and I also get 3 meals a day. Pretty good meals, as you'll see. I'm allowed to go outside just around this area. I saw a bunch of middle-aged men smoking out there, so it's more or less the demographic that I saw. And I'm not allowed to be in the hallways. Like, for example, if I want to go outside, I can't do that during the breakfast, lunch, or dinner hours when they're delivering the food, and then they'll knock on my door once the food is here. I have to wait a couple of minutes, open it up, and I can get my food. But typical day for me, I've been waking up at 10 a.m., which has been really nice. And then I've been starting work. Actually, I've had work, which is kind of nice. And I've been starting Central Time in the US, which is about 3 p.m. here. So I really only have 5 hours to kill. I've been doing like a Peloton yoga class. There goes an hour, minute or so. And then honestly, I just got a VPN from the US, and I've just been watching all these shows that I've not been caught up on for 2 weeks, and FaceTiming some friends and family. So all in all, my experience hasn't been too bad. I think we were primed for this last year. Nothing beats 6 months of quarantine, so I can do a week here, not a big deal at all. I wanted to share some of the travel tips that I had during COVID, and ironically, I started compiling this list before this happened. Now I feel like I know even a little bit more, but don't know it all, but just had some general recommendations just from my experiences traveling this summer. First things first, like I said before, I think just the mindset, you really have to take the good with the bad. Traveling during COVID is definitely not for the faint of heart. There's gonna be things that just don't go your way. So definitely a lesson there. And then thankfully this trip I actually got travel insurance, and I primarily got it this time because I was gonna be driving for 2 legs of the trip, and it made me feel a lot safer. Now I'm obviously glad I got travel insurance for COVID purposes. I saw online that they recommended Nomad travel insurance. My experience has been great customer service. They respond back. That's why the online article that I saw recommended is just really good customer service. So super easy. It was $99, and I'm covered for $2,500 of trip interruption, and then medical expenses. I forget how much, but you can go online and take a look. Obviously really cheap, like relative to what it covers, and your peace of mind I think is so important. Third thing, I was not eligible for a booster shot before I left, but something I highly recommend. Those are just some things pre-departure. Last thing pre-departure is just schedule your COVID tests well ahead of time. For this trip I scheduled 3 to 4 tests, just because I had the experience last time where my PCR test didn't come back in time, so I actually had to get a COVID test at the airport. So schedule them way ahead of time. I live in San Francisco, and those appointments can be booked out quite a ways. Another thing pre-departure, bring your work laptop. Even if you don't plan on working during your trip, definitely bring it. I know it's a little bit heavier, but if, say for example, you get quarantined, you can still work here and you're not having to take PTO that whole time. So definitely recommend that. If you have any questions about COVID related things, the best people to message first off would be embassies. So say for example, you're going to Portugal, you have questions about guidelines, email the Portuguese embassy wherever you're at. And then airlines are also supposed to be a really good resource. I've had better luck with the embassy. While you're actually here, make sure you double check what's open. You know, I do find that like Google is still a little bit unreliable with times that places are open or if they're open for the year. People just don't tend to update their Google information, and honestly I find that they don't even update their website information. So for example, in Scotland we drove about 30 minutes to a distillery, ended up being closed for the season. So not a big deal driving there, but if you can call, ideal, or maybe even ask around at your hotel first to see. Another thing with traveling, just know that there's certain checkpoints that you will have to, like when you get to one airport, you actually have to go through customs and security again. So definitely when you come from like US to Europe, for example, you have to do that before you board your next flight. I even had it when I was flying from London to Scotland. I had to go through customs and security again. So say for example, and check-in is usually ending an hour before the flight takes off. If you have to like skip lines, people understand. I swear they can see it in your eyes that you're panicked, and people are so not kind. Usually that if you do need to skip lines because you have to go through customs and security, don't be afraid to do it. Because when I missed my Scotland flight for that, I had to pay $500 to book the next flight because I wanted to get there as soon as possible. And then one thing I would definitely do now, I didn't have to wear a mask at a bar in Scotland. I would 100% wear a mask at all times during your trip to avoid this kind of situation. If unfortunately this does happen to you, similar situation, say for example you test positive on antigens, the next thing you know you'll have to do is get a PCR test, and if that's positive then you typically have to report it to the government. They'll give you a phone number, and then you'll either have to pay for isolation room yourself. Again, great reason to get insurance. If not, ask if the country will put you in housing, like they're doing here in Copenhagen. Again, so incredibly thankful and grateful. And then typically, I mean, from my experience, I have to isolate, or I have to show 10 days since my symptoms started, an antigen test, and I have to get the approval from the doctor to fly. So just, it's really gonna vary country to country, but that's just my experience and maybe a general guideline. But best thing to do again is to email embassies and see what the protocol is and what you'll need to do. This is everything that I pack for a 3-week trip as a minimalist. So start with the bottoms. I wore jeans, leggings, and then a black skirt, and then I'm wearing my sweatpants, which I wear all the time during these types of trips. Sweater, kind of wish I didn't bring it. I haven't really used it much. And then 5 tank tops. I just wear all the time with this. I have 1 long sleeve shirt on now. Honestly, I probably could have taken fewer of these because there's been laundry at a lot of the places that I've gone to. And then some socks. I have 2 long sleeve socks, or 2, yeah, long socks that are just a little dirty. And then bathing suits, and then some electronics. Phone charger, obviously, camera charger, which I have right now. iPhone's over there. My portable charger, highly recommend when you're traveling. And then universal power adapter, can do so many different countries. And then I bring quite a few headphones. I do my noise canceling for the airplane, and then I bring these just in case I'm like walking around and I prefer not to bring that. And then this for the airplane, so I have my own wallet, keys, obviously, toiletries, passport. Highly recommend this Lulu crossbody bag. I use it all the time. It's really good with traveling because there's a really good pocket right here for your passport. And then I recommend just bringing your favorite jewelry that you can wear every single day. Who really cares? My shoes for the trip, and brought these so I could wear socks with them. So obviously not going for the cutest outfits, but it works. Lock for hostels, for the airplane, and just every night I use that. It's a eye mask. I brought an umbrella and this poncho. Honestly, didn't need this because it doesn't even fit over my jackets, and I wore my jackets every day because it's cold. So if you're going to a warm climate that rains a lot, that might be really good just for the like flash rainstorms. But this is good for the cold places that rains. And then plain pillow, my straightening iron, you know, probably don't need it often, but it's nice to have. And then laptop, MiFi, just in case. And then a laptop charger. This is my duffel that I use every single trip. I've gotten so much good use out of it. Highly recommend it because it has like the backpack straps. And then you typically don't have to pay for baggage fees because it fits into one of those like iron gate things. So yeah, that is everything that I brought for 3 weeks.